Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. I hope your portfolios are doing great. Some people's aren't right now, and we're going to talk about that as the Nasdaq falls to a 2-year low on Monday, led by a decline in chip stocks. I want to stop real quick here because it's not only, we're seeing these cycles. 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. Why? Because when the world shut down 2 years ago and we saw that massive sell-off in the world markets, all these bases were formed, right? In stock, equity prices, things like that. And we're seeing that right now. The Dow has just hit levels not seen in 2 years. The Nasdaq hit levels not seen in 2 years. Very, very interesting point, because I want to explain to you, those lows were formed during a collapse, a crisis, then they built back up. Now you're like, well, it's not like the world shut down, but equity prices are back to those numbers. And that's got to tell you something. Now let's talk about this. Stocks fell on Monday with the Nasdaq Composite Index falling to its lowest level in 2 years as tech shares continue to be the hardest hit in the bear market because of spiking interest rates. Remember, who owns tech stocks? Well, there's a lot of retail investors, but really the amount of money from institutional investors, which manage your pension funds, have been diving into these tech stocks, these FANG stocks, for years. And as they start to take a hit, trust me, the weighting of these institutions that have these in here, these big names like Apple, Google, Facebook and stuff, they are taking monumental hits, okay? And the problem is, are they going to be smart enough to get out? I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest with you. The problem is because these FANG stocks have been number one in so many people's minds for so long, the emotional impact it's going to take to get investors out of those. It's like a monkey in a trap holding on to that apple as you walk up with a club and he's freaking out, but he cares more about letting go of that apple than what's going to happen to his noggin. That's the problem with investing. It says the Nasdaq fell more than 1.5% to touch its lowest level since September of 2020, weighted down by a slump in semiconductor stocks such as Nvidia, AMD. The S&P 500 also fell, dragged down by semi stocks and dips in major tech names like Apple and Microsoft. The benchmark lost 1.1%. Now, it's another funny thing that I want to explain is that people don't realize how big of a deal Apple not being able to come out with its new phone, because there's just not a customer base for it. People do not have the money for the next available iPhone because they're spending money on food, fuel, energy, and things like that. That is something that is very, very important. People need to understand that. That is why a lot of these companies are being shocked. They're like, we're so used to putting out the new version and people, running in to get this. With interest rates spiking also, not only is it causing prices of their goods and services to go up, right? Because they use debt, these companies use debt, but also when they go to sell you something like an iPhone and you have to finance it, what are those finance charges like? Are those going to impact the consumer as well? And I think they absolutely are. Now, it says the slump in semiconductor stocks comes after the Biden administration announced new export controls that limit U.S. companies selling advanced computing semiconductors-related manufacturing equipment to China. Tech shares also been hit the hardest in this sell-off as rising rates expose their relatively high valuations and raise their cost of capital. Now, let me stop there. First off, I do appreciate that we're not going to be selling off our information to China. We need to be bringing technology, holding on to it here, and bring manufacturing back to this country. Problem is, because of high wages, companies have left America to go outside and outfit other countries and their employees, their people, to build the products for them. Here's the problem. That means there's going to be a lot of pain during this transition, because companies are like, man, if I'm forced to make stuff here, the high cost of building that now because of high labor costs, real estate costs, and so on, it's going to kill our margins. So we're going to see a time of pain where companies go through pain and have to either lay people off or close their doors permanently. That's why I started the side hustle course. It's time to bring back manufacturing and start companies now. Well, how do companies start? They didn't start, Google didn't start as Google. It started in a garage. That is what people need to understand. Start businesses now. And if you can start a business during a recession, as the big boys are going out of business, because they're over leveraged and they got too full of themselves, and you're here in your garage, you go, I've got an answer to that. You can start building wealth, start building a business right now, and start finding things in the depths of a recession, in the depths of a crisis. That's when the best deals are formed and the biggest businesses become the better businesses become even bigger. That's why I started the course. I think it's so valuable right now that if you're thinking about starting a side hustle, do it right. Do it small. Do it with cash. Don't over leverage yourself. Be different than all these big companies. And there's people watching this right now that are the next people to run the next version of Google, the next version of Facebook, the social media apps, the big companies. But I want good people running those companies. See what I'm saying? That's why we want to do this. We want to bring manufacturing back to this world. Guys, I'm going to link this story. That's really nothing to link. It's just facts. Nasdaq's fallen. Stocks are falling. I think real estate's falling. It's going to be crazy. Guys, be different. Build small. Build with cash. Stay out of debt. Get big. Guys, this is going to be awesome. With that being said, the Economic Ninja is out.